So I want to do a little review of adding and subtracting fractions with unlike denominators. So we're going to have to work on this finding a common denominator again, which we've been working on pretty hard. So I want to focus in on, and I'm going to zoom in quite a bit so we don't really see the next problem at all. Let me come back to it. Okay, so our first one here says, Amy used 7/9 yard of ribbon in her dress. Jasmine used 5/6 yard of ribbon in her dress. Which girl used more ribbon and how much more did she use? So to start with, all I want to focus on is which girl used more ribbon. I'm not going to concern myself right now with how much more did she use. We need to know which girl used more. So, Jasmine, how did you jump to that without even solving? What's your trick?
I just thought that 5/6 is like, it looks like it's smaller, but if you look on like those bar chart thingies, the 5/6 is more like bigger.
So do you think we should draw a tape diagram maybe?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? Okay, so let's do that together. I'm hoping yours in your notebook is much cleaner than mine on here. So the way I like to do them to compare is I like to put them, oh, I can actually draw it like this. I like to put them on top of each other. Because when I put them on top of each other, I know for sure they will be the same size. So I am going to draw two, look at that, two tape diagrams on top of each other. So go ahead and do that in your notebook real quick. All right, so now what you need to do, you know that with 9ths, you need to draw 8 lines. And you know that with 6, you need to draw 5 lines. You're always drawing 1 line less. So you're gonna have that extra piece.
But for my 9, I only drew 4 lines.
Oh, okay. So your 9ths are a little bit trickier. And I'm gonna do my best. I will tell you guys, a lot of times what you're gonna end up doing is start drawing your lines, and then if the pieces aren't even, you might have to erase. It's not really a big deal. So I'm going to start here with drawing my 8 lines, and you go ahead on your top one and see if you can make some even 9ths, okay? And I even made a little bit of a mistake, like I started making my 9ths, and they're nowhere near to being close to even. So maybe you go ahead and you erase them or you redo them. It's okay. I mean, it's very difficult. There are some tricks if you're doing 8ths or if you're doing 4ths that we know, but like unusual ones such as 6/6 are easy. And I'll show you a trick for 6 in just a second. Okay.
I cannot draw stuff like that. Whenever I do,
The 9ths are so hard. I know. I'm having a hard time too here.
With like,
okay, so there's our 9ths. 6, I'll show you the trick for 6. With 6, split it into thirds. And then split them again. Oh no. So what you'll notice is that your lines should be on top of each other here. So here's the cool trick. Both of these are working from original unit fractions of thirds. So if you look at my screen here, if I split it into thirds first, then I could split each of those into 3 more pieces to make 9ths. If I'm doing it like this, I can split it into thirds for 6 and split both of those in half. So you will notice if you're drawing it correctly, 3/3 and 6/3 are going to be the same down here on your ninths and your sixths, excuse me. As long as you're close, that's what matters. Now, you're going to go ahead and shade in your 7/9 and your 5/6. Now that you have your picture drawn and hopefully colored in much more beautiful than mine, will anyone tell me which fraction is bigger? You can look at my picture if you need to.
5/6 is bigger than 7/9.
How do you know that, Addie?
Because the 5/6 is greater than 7/9.
You're right, and you can see that in our picture, right? So if I was to draw right here, this is my 5/6, right? Back here is my 7/9. So according to my picture, which girl used more ribbon? It'd be Jasmine, right?
Yeah, and I solved it a different way than that.
How'd you do it?
I multiplied.
Oh, that was going to be my next one. You got it. So how did you do with multiplication?
I multiplied 9 and 6, it's 6 and 9, and it was 54. So I made the denominator 54.
Did anyone else, if you'll unmute yourself and shout out, did anyone else try to solve this with multiplication? Only Addie? Okay.
And I multiplied 5 times 9 and 7 times 6. Because you multiply it by 9, and with 9 you multiply it by 6.
So I'm going to write out what you just said, Addie. All right, Addie, so you said we started with these, and then what did you do next?
I multiplied them
by
each other. I multiplied the denominators by each other.
Why'd you do that?
Huh?
Why'd you do that?
Because when you can multiply 9 times 6 to equal 54.
Mm-hmm. And you know that if 9 times 6 is 54, then 6 times 9
is 54.
Is also 54. Good, Addie. So you're finding a common denominator, right?
Yeah, and you need to multiply the top by the same you multiply the bottom.
Okay, so I'm going to leave this here, and I want to hear from someone other than Addie in about a minute what two fractions we end up with. Whenever you're ready, will you just shout out what you got in 54ths?
I believe I got the answer for both of those equations.
Awesome. What's your first one?
So for 7/9 times 6/6,
yes, sir.
Basically the numerator would be 36, because that's 7 times 6.
Well, 6 times 6 is 36. 7 times 6 is, I'll give you a hint here.
42.
42. All right, Justin, what did you get for your next one?
And then 5 times 9 is 45.
All right.
So then 45 is greater than 42. So you can then tell that 5/6 is greater than 7/9.
Excellent. It becomes a lot easier when you have a common denominator, right?
Yeah.
I know that some of you are still working on your fraction bars, and some of you are working on multiplication for common denominators. We're all in kind of a different place, but I think our goal here would be to work up to getting to this multiplication of common denominators. You'll notice that's a lot easier. Sometimes drawing those fraction bars with really big numbers gets really tricky. But if you want to do both, if it says like explain your thinking, maybe you could do it both ways. Maybe you could say I drew a tape diagram and I multiplied. It's nice to have both, but we're trying to kind of work our way up to this common denominator, okay? So Justin, how much more did she use?
she apparently used 3/54 more.
Yes, sir. So at this point, you guys, we take the larger one and we subtract the smaller one. And because there's a common denominator, we don't have to do anything else to them. We know we're staying in 54ths, and then all we have to do is subtract the numerators. It becomes a whole lot easier once we're in a common denominator. And 3/54. Ridian, my professor, how could I simplify this?
You could divide the two numbers together, getting 1/18, I think.
So will you explain to everyone what you mean by that?
You would take number 54 and divide it by 3.
And why didn't you pick 2? Because a lot of times we like to divide by 2, right? Why didn't you pick 2?
Because
Uh-oh, I think you want to mute and unmute yourself, buddy? I think we lost you for a second.
I think I might have an idea why Ridian did that.
Why, Addie?
Because you can't divide an even, you can't
Remainder.
divide
I mean,
3
you can-
from 2.
remainder.
Right. We can't divide 3 by 2, but we can divide it by 3. And 54 is also divisible by 3. So we end up with 1/18. And guys, either way, I'll count you correct. If you say 3/54, as long as you have an answer with a common denominator, that is fine. But if you want to push yourself and you're looking for a little bit more of a challenge, that's one way to do it, okay? All right, let's go to our next one. Are we ready? And you notice we're working on some word problems today. Yay. My computer's messing up on me here. Okay. Let's just do an easy one. Let's do number 3. Rami's glass is 1/2 full. Will's glass is 3/8 full. It sounds funny. Whose glass is fuller? I'd say whose glass is more.
Rami's, whatever.
Yeah, Ramis.
Wait, how did we do that so quickly? Someone tell me. You guys didn't even have to think. How did you do that so fast?
Because 3/8 is smaller than 1/2.
And how do you know that?
It's because 4/4.
Oh, I think you cut out, Addie. I want to hear from somebody. Who could I hear from?
I think I got the answer, or I know the answer.
Okay. And how did you guys, it's almost like you did this with mental math. How'd you do it so quickly? What'd you know?
So 3/8 is smaller than 4/8, but to put it simply, 4/8 is 1/2. So 1/2 is basically 1/8 greater than 3/8.
So you're telling me I could turn my 1/2 into eighths and then compare?
Yep,
What do I need to multiply by?
4.
Beautiful. With a multiplier of 4, we're now both in eighths, and you're telling me it's 4/8. At this point, it's really easy to see that our 1/2, and I'll put over here, it's actually 4/8. 4/8 is fuller than 3/8, right? I mean, that's
Yep.
a very easy. This is why you guys, finding a common denominator is so important, because it makes everything so much easier when you're comparing it with the same denominator. All of a sudden,
Yes,
just
definitely.
compare the numerators and be done, right?
Definitely.
All right. I want to hear from Mr. Geo. Rami's glass is 4/8 full. Will's glass is 3/8 full. How much fuller is it? Sounds so funny.
1/8.
How did you know, Geo?
Because since they have the same denominator,
Mm-hmm.
all you need to do is do 4/8 minus 3/8 and you get 1/8.
Good work, Geo. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, welcome.
All right. We'll do about 2 more here, and then I'm going to send you off on your own. Pick one more addition and one more subtraction. Let's do, somebody pick a number for me. We have 13 through 21. Quinn, pick a number, any number. 13 through 21. You there, Quinn?
19. I was muted.
19. Oh, you picked the easiest one. Okay.
Oh, I thought that was subtraction.
All right, we'll start with Quinn's easy one. Let's do that one first, okay? In your notebook, I want you to solve 2 7s plus 5 7s. And you can thank your friend Quinn for that one.
I got it.
How did you do that so quick? Quinn picked the hardest problem ever.
So first I added 5 and 2.
Okay. Hey, wait. How did you add the numerator? You didn't have to do anything to the denominator? What do you think? Are you there?
Yeah.
How did you know you could just add the top?
Because the bottom will always be 7.
Yeah, so our denominators are already the same. So we don't have to do anything to the denominator, so we just add the numerators. And what is 5 plus 2?
7.
So 7 7s.
Which could also be written as
1 whole.
1 whole. All right. Are you ready? I'm going to pick a much harder one than Quinn.
Uh-oh.
I want us to do number 17. 1/4 minus 5 32. Give you a minute or two to work through it. Find a common denominator.
I think I got it again.
Okay, give everyone just 1 second, okay?
I'm practically clueless on this one.
Well, it sounds like Bella's ready to explain it to you.
I mean, I think I found the common denominator, but I'm not sure. I just don't know what to do about the numerators.
Sounds like Justin's proposing a challenge to everyone.
I think I got it.
If you can explain the denominators to Justin, who wants to take on the challenge?
Me,
Who's me?
Aaliyah.
Aaliyah, you're feeling courageous?
Yes.
All right, Aaliyah, let's explain. What do we need to do here?
So our denominator is 32, but 4 can go into 32 8 times.
Wow. So you looked at it and you said, okay, I know that 4 can go into 32. It's not there yet, right? But what do you need to do to it, you said?
It times 4 by 32.
Wait.
4 times 8.
8. And why did you pick 8?
Because when I was counting by 4s, I reached 8, which means 32.
Hey, and remember we said that's a great strategy, you guys? If you're not really sure how many times he goes into it, you can skip count by 4s, right? Great idea. All right, Aaliyah, and now you got it so that 4 times 8 is 32, like you wanted, right? And what do I need to do to my numerators?
You need to times your numerator by 8, because you need times, if you do it to the bottom, you got to do it to the top.
Hey, and now, Aaliyah, it looks a little bit more friendly when I have 8 30-seconds minus 5 30-seconds, doesn't it?
Yeah, which your answer would be 3 out of 32.
Yes, ma'am. You guys see how she did that? A lot of the times, you guys, the denominators you'll be able to find a common denominator through either multiplication or division. Okay? So sometimes it might be division, sometimes it might be multiplication. And I will tell you, the skip counting is a great idea. So she's like, 4 times 1 is 4.
White.
4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 3 is 12. And you could continue on like that. And then you're like, 8 times? Got it. All right. Now I want to do one more. I'll give you a hint. Actually, no, you know what? I don't want to give you a hint. I want to see what you come up with on your own. Let's do, I want to make it a little harder for you guys. Let's get crazy here. And I might go back a little bit, actually. We're going to do this one. Let's do number 8 here. I'll zoom in a little bit so you guys can see it better. 3/8 plus 2/5. Find your common denominator and then add them on up.
I think I got it.
Okay, just 1 second.
I think I have it too.
Okay, give everyone 1 more minute. All right, let's find someone I haven't heard from yet to explain this to us. Who's ready to step up?
I wanna.
All right, I like hearing that. What do we need to do first?
So first you need to find a common denominator.
Okay.
So what you would do is multiply the denominators. 8 times 5.
Okay, perfect.
40.
So I'm gonna set up our first one for you here. So you're saying 3/8 I need to multiply by 5?
Yep.
And how'd you pick 5?
Cause
You multiply them by each other, right?
yeah.
Perfect.
Whatever you do at the bottom, you do at the top.
Yep, and now we can both turn them into 40ths like you said. So
Yep.
what's 3 times 5?
15.
All right, so now I have 15 40ths.
Yep.
And then now you're saying my 2/5, what do I need to do to my 2/5? By.
You need to multiply it by
I'm trying to turn it into 40ths, right?
yeah.
So I'm
5
gonna do
times
this one by 8, yeah? Because I know 8 times 5 is 40, so I know that 5 times 8 is 40. Same thing. All right, Gio, what's on top there? What is 8 times 2?
16.
Yay! Aha! All right, well, now that my denominators are the same, I can just add the numerators, right?
Yep.
So now I have 15 40ths plus 16 40ths. What do we end up with?
30.
1/40.
Yeah, 31.
Beautiful, 31 40ths. Do you guys see how that common denominator helps? How are we feeling now? I want to hear you guys can unmute yourselves. Shout it out.
Pretty good.
Great.
Great,
Good.
super, ready to go?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah, okay.
let me pause our recording real quick.